I am Nujood, age 10 and divorced. Chapter 1. In court, April 2, 2008. My head is spinning. I have never seen so many people in my whole life. In the yard, outside the courthouse, a crowd is bustling around in every direction. Men in suits and in ties with bunches of yellow files tucked under their arms. Other men wearing the zana, the traditional ankle-length tunic of the villages of northern Yemen, and then all these women shouting and weeping so loudly that I can't understand a word. I would love to read their lips to find out what they are saying, but the niqabs that mesh their long black robes hide everything except their big, round eyes. The women seem furious, as if tornado had just destroyed their houses. I try to listen closely. I can catch only a few words: childcare, justice, human rights, and I'm not really sure what they mean. Not far away from me is broad shouldered giant wearing his turban jammed down to his eyes. He is carrying a plastic bag full of documents and telling anyone who will listen that he has come here to try to get back some land that was stolen from him. He is dashing around like a frantic rabbit and he almost runs right into me. What chaos! It must be like a Al-Qa Square, the one in the heart of Sana's where out-of-work laborers go. The place Abba Papa often talks about. There's, there it's every man for himself. They all want to be first to snag a job for that day at dawn, just after first azan, the traditional summons to prayer called out 5 times a day by muezzins from the minarets of their mosque. Poor people are so hungry they have got stones where their hearts should be, and no time to feel pity for fates of others. Still, I would like so much for someone here to take my hand, to look at me with kindness. Won't anyone listen to me for once? It's as if I were invisible. No one sees me. I'm too small for them. I barely come up to their tummies. I'm only 10 years old. Maybe not even that. Who knows? I would imagine the courthouse differently. A calm, clean place, a great house where good battles evil, where you can fix all the problems of the world. I would already seen some courtrooms on my neighbor's television with judges in long rows. People say they are the ones who can help people in need. So I have to find one and tell him my story. I am exhausted. It's hot under my well. I have a headache. I am so ashamed. Am I strong enough to keep going? No, yes, maybe. I tell myself it's too late to turn back. The hardest part is over, and I have to go on. When I left my parents' house early this morning, I promised myself not to set foot there again until I had gotten what I wanted. Off you go. Buy some bread for breakfast, my mother told me, giving me 150 Yemeni reals, worth about 75 cents. As a matter of course, I pinned up my long, curly brown hair under my black hat scarf and covered my body with black coat, which is what all Yemeni women wear out in public. Trembling, feeling failed, I walked only a short way before catching the first minibus that passed along the wide avenue leading into town, where I got off at the end of the line. Then, in spite of my fear, for the first time in my life, I climbed all alone into a new yellow taxi. Now, this endless waiting in the courtyard. To whom should I speak? Unexpectedly, over by the steps of leading up to the entrance hall of the big concrete building, I spot what look like a few friendly faces in the crowd, their cheeks dark with dust. 3 boys in plastic sandals are studying me carefully. They remind me of my little brothers. Your weight, 10 royals. One of them calls out to me, shaking a battered old scale. Some refreshing tea, asks another, holding up a small basket full of steaming glasses. Fresh carrot juice, suggests a third boy, breaking into his nicest smile as he stretches out his right hand in hope of finding a small coin. No thanks, I'm not thirsty, and what's on my mind has nothing to do with how much I weigh. If they only knew what brings me here. Bewildered, helpless, I look up again into faces of many grown up. hurrying past me. In their long wheels, the women all look the same. What kind of a mess have I gotten myself into? Then I notice a man in white shirt and black suit walking towards me, a judge perhaps or a lawyer. Well, it's an opportunity, so here goes. Excuse me, mister, I want to see the judge. The judge? Over that way up the steps, he replies with hardly a glance at me, before vanishing back into the throng. I have no choice anymore. I must tackle the staircase, now looming before me. It's my last and only chance to get help. I feel dirty and ashamed, but I have to climb these steps one by one, to go tell my story, to wade through this human flood that grows even bigger the closer I get to the west entrance hall. I almost fall down, but I catch myself. I have cried so much that my eyes are dry. I am tired. My feet feel like lead. When I finally step into the marble floor, but I must collapse, not now. On the white walls, like the one in a hospital, I can see writing in Arabic. But no matter how I try, I can't manage to read the inscriptions. I was forced to leave school during my second year, right before my life became a nightmare. And aside from my first name, Nujood, I can't write much, which really embarrasses me. Looking around, I spy a group of men in olive green uniforms and capes. They must be policemen or else soldiers. One of them has a Kalashnikov slung over his shoulder. I am shaking. If they see me, they might arrest me. A little girl running away from home. That just isn't done. Trembling, I discreetly latch onto the first passing wheel, hoping to get the attention of the unknown women it conceals. A tiny voice inside me whispers, "Go on, Nujood. It's true, you are only a girl, but you are also a woman, and a real one, even though you still have a trouble accepting that." I want to talk to the judge. Two big eyes framed in black stare at me in surprise. The lady in front of me hadn't seen me approach her. What? I want to talk to the judge? Is she not understanding me on purpose so she can ignore me easily, like the others? Which judge are you looking for? I just want to speak to a judge, that's all. But there are a lot of judges in this courthouse. Take me to the judge. It doesn't matter which one. She stares at me in silence, astonished by my determination, unless it's my shrill little cry that has frozen her solid. I'm a simple village girl whose family had to move to the capital, and I have always obeyed the orders of my father and brothers. Since forever, I have learned to say yes to everything. Today, I have decided to say no. Inside of me, I have been soiled, contaminated. It's a part of myself has been stolen from me. No one has a right to keep me from seeking justice. It's my last chance, so I'm not going to give up easily. And this surprise stare, which feels as cold as a marble of the great hall where my cry now echoes strangely, will not make me keep quiet. It's almost noon. I have been wandering desperately in this labyrinth of courthouse for hours. I want to see the judge. Follow me, the woman finally says, gesturing for me to walk along behind her. The door opens onto a room with brown carpeting. It's full of people, and at far behind a desk, a thin-faced man with a mustache busily replies to the barrage of questions coming at him from all directions. It's the judge at last. The atmosphere is noisy, but reassuring. I feel safe. I recognize in a place of honor on a wall a framed photograph of Uncle Ali. That's what I have been taught in school to call the president of our country, Ali Abdul Shah Al-Sam, who was elected more than 30 years ago. Outside Muzen issues the midday call to prayer as I sit down like everyone else in one of the brown armchairs lined up along the wall. Around me, I catch glimpses of familiar faces, or rather, familiar eye, from the angry crowd in the courtyard. Certain faces lean towards me in a strange way. They have finally realized that I exist. It's about time. Comforted, I rest my head against the back of the chair and patiently await my turn. If God exists, I say to myself, then let him come save me. I have always recited the 5 required daily prayers during Eid al-Fitr, when we celebrate the end of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting. I dutifully help my mother and sisters with all cooking. I am basically a very good girl. Oh God, have pity on me. My mind is dizzy with images that come and go. I am swimming. The sea is calmed and the water becomes choppy. I catch sight of my brother, fares off in distance. but I can't go to him. When I call to him, he doesn't hear me, so I begin shouting his name. Then gust of wind blows me backward toward the shore. I struggle, whirling my hands around like propellers. I'm not going to let anyone myself be driven all the way back to where I started, but I'm so close to the shore now. I've lost sight for fears. Help, I don't want to go back to cottages. No, I don't want to go back there. And what can I do for you? A man's voice rouses me from my dozing, its curiously gentle voice, with no need to be loud, attract my attention, simply whispering a few words. And what can I do for you? At last, someone has come to my rescue. I rub my face, recognize standing tall there in front of me the judge with mustache. The crowd has gone, the eyes have disappeared, and the room is almost empty. I have no reply, so the man tries again. What do you want? This time I answer promptly. I want a divorce.